friends, my name is Kim. Welcome back to Healing Place Cottage. Welcome to my kitchen. I am so happy to have you with me today. Today we're going to make a recipe that's based off of something I saw online for a Lebanese green beans and beef and green beans and tomatoes. I'm going to kind of modify this and make it a slow cooker recipe. But it did call for browning the ground beef, and I just can't imagine not browning the ground beef. So I'm going to do that. And actually it called for stew meat, which it called to brown that with your onions and garlic. So I'm going to go ahead and do that step before I put it in the slow cooker. We'll go ahead and add some salt and pepper. And we'll chop up our onion. So I had someone tell me that I chopped my onion in the absolute worst way possible. I haven't had a chance to watch some videos on how to chop onions. So I'm going to do one other way of how I chop and see if that's better. Okay. Well, it's definitely quicker. I think I'm only going to add half an onion. That's a large onion, and I think when they say one onion, they're talking about a yellow onion, and I use, although these are obviously yellow, I use sweet onions. That's why my eyes don't water when I chop them. I'm going to go ahead and get the other crock pot ingredients ready. So we're going to take, I have 2 cans of green beans. This recipe that I saw called for fresh green beans, but it was doing it on the stovetop. And I'm going to use canned green beans. And then 1 large can of crushed tomatoes. Okay, our meat is for the most part browned. I'm going to go ahead and add our garlic. And I used a 90-10 ground beef. It's ground sirloin. So there's not a lot of grease. There is some grease, but I'm going to go ahead and leave that because I think it's just going to add flavor. And I'm going to add this to my tomatoes and green beans. I've already salt and peppered my tomatoes and green beans, and I salt and peppered the onions and beef. So we will mix that together. And then we're going to put a lid on this, and we're going to let this cook for, I'm going to cook it on low for, what time is it? It is going on noon, so I'm probably going to cook it on high for an hour and then on low for about 4 hours. And then when we come back, we will give it a taste. And I hope that this is delicious. Okay, friends, it has been 2.5 hours. I cooked this on high for 2.5 hours because I fell asleep in my chair and forgot that I was supposed to be turning this down to low, and I could smell it when I woke up. But it smells delicious. This is what it looks like. Kind of soupy. Let's give it a taste, but this is very hot. it's good. It tastes kind of like a rich vegetable soup. If you had vegetable beef soup, um, I mean, it's very good. I just can't imagine not eating this with some kind of starch. So I personally think that this would be absolutely delicious with rice. I'm not sure, but I mean, I think it's fine without it. And if you're doing low carb, I think it's delicious. It tastes delicious. I just personally can't imagine not eating this with rice or something like that. But, and I probably will, because this is very low in carbs. You've only got the tomatoes, the green beans, the onion, and the ground beef. So you're looking at very limited carbs. I will put how many carbs in the show notes when I put where I put the recipe, because I forgot to look that up because I was asleep. So we will we'll put that down there, but I'm sure it's very limited. My guess is it's under 6 carbs. I could be wrong, but just based on looking up other recipes and things, tomatoes are going to be your highest carbohydrate in this. And I'm not sure what a can of crushed tomatoes has in it. But it is it's very tasty. I can taste the garlic and the onion very well. Had a perfect amount of salt and pepper in it. And so it's very tasty. I just personally will want this with a carbohydrate. So I'm going to want it with some rice. And I think it's going to be absolutely delicious. So if you like this recipe, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already started following me on TikTok or YouTube, you can follow me at HealingPlaceCottage. You can also check me out on Instagram and Facebook. And I try to post diabetic-friendly recipes every Tuesday and Friday. Thanks very much for tuning in, and I look forward to cooking with you again soon. Take care, friends. Hi friends, I wanted to come back on and let you know that I was totally wrong about how many carbohydrates are in that dish. The tomatoes must have a lot of carbohydrates. So there were 170 calories, 3.6 grams of fat, and only 18 milligrams of cholesterol. So this is a very heart healthy recipe. It had 26 grams of carbs. So if you went ahead and had rice with this like I did, that rice is 26 grams of carbs as well. So I'm looking at 52 grams of carbs for the meal. And I try to stay under 45 grams of carbs in a meal as someone who's type 2 diabetic. So that I wanted to let you know so you didn't make the same mistake that I did. There were 3.7 grams of fiber, so you can deduct that from the 26 grams of carbs. And 10.5 grams of protein. It was delicious. I ate the whole bowl with about a third of a cup of rice. So third to a half a cup of rice. And it was absolutely delicious. So I do recommend the recipe. I just want you to be very aware of how many carbohydrates are in it. Take care.